Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're watching Battlestar Galactica. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are watching episode 15 of season 3 of Battlestar Galactica. Last episode was kind of a little bit, it's not really a filler episode because it has to do with our crew. It has to do with what life is like in the fleet, on the ships, and kind of where people come from different ways of thinking, different religions, different planets. And we got ourselves a bad doctor doing bad things. I am looking forward to kind of getting more of these character building episodes because definitely, you know, Hilo, the Boy Scout we love, he shined. He was a shining light in the last episode. And I was actually rather disappointed with Sharon, where I get, like, normally she is the one that's kind of like outcast maybe with normal people or civilians on the ship. And in this case, it was a different group of civilians that were kind of being outcast. And, you know, her not wanting Hilo to be involved, I totally understand, but it is his job. So it was nice to see it was nice to see Hilo, you know, really stick to his guns on that one and really push for the doctor to be investigated. But I was rather irritated that the people that normally believe in Hilo, or like even Admiral Adama, like kind of brushing him off a little bit and saying like, there's no story here. And I don't like that when characters that normally don't behave that way are behaving that way. So that was really the only issue I had with the entire episode. I know that a lot of these episodes, whether it's, you know, mass genocide, or it is even having a vaccine or being forced to take in a vaccine, I get it. It's very topical, and it's something that came out, you know, 2 decades ago, but it's still pretty relevant in this day and age. And a lot of people have different opinions on how they would handle certain situations or what they think. And sometimes for me, like, I like that because it's a make me think kind of thing, but I kind of get irritated by it because then it kind of overwhelms the story that I really want to get to. Because like the episode previous, you know, we had Gaius who was being tortured, which is also very topical. But, you know, there was I don't want to say it was a revelation. Why am I having a hard time with words? I always have a hard time with words, but like so much a revelation, there we go, in his mind at least, that he's not one of the final 5. And again, with Head 6, you know, kind of in his ear a little bit, I think he's convinced himself that he's not one of the final 5. I don't know if that is or is not true. I don't know if having a near-death experience makes you semi-download, not download. I don't know. I don't believe it fully that Gaius is not a Cylon, and I don't believe it fully that he isn't a Cylon. I think that question's still out there, and I think that's going to be the one that's like, it's not answered until you see the final 5, and it's like, okay, Gaius is just Gaius, or yep, the whole time there he was in charge of everybody. I could really see him being the head Cylon. I really could. Anyway. But I actually made a list of who I think is in the final 5, and I didn't just narrow it down to 5 people. I narrowed it down to a couple different people and reasons why. People that are dead that I think may still be relevant, and then just kind of like odd thoughts that like had popped into my head while I was thinking about the list. And I have sent that to Xander. Now, that was on January 2nd, so or 3rd, one of those days. So I will be amending it as I go if I get any other ideas, but I do have that list that if I am proven right at any point, he has my permission to show you. And if I'm completely wrong, that list will never see the light of day. I'm sure I got at least hits on like 3 of them. 3 for sure. I'm like, they have to be. They have to be. They have to be. I don't know. What the hell do I know? I'm over here just guessing. But I think that's the fun part about Battlestar Galactica. That's what was like really the hard part at the beginning, was the paranoia of like, can we trust anyone who's a Cylon? And now that we've come to trust certain Cylons, we're like, oh, well, like who's left that it could possibly be? And they could totally give us new Cylons. Like, I did not expect Brother Cavill to be a Cylon, and that was a great reveal. Deanna was a great reveal as a Cylon, and what I like is that after they're introduced, they don't take too long to like let you know that somebody is a Cylon. So with the final 5, I think that they have been playing an amazingly long game with it, because somebody, I think, left a comment a couple weeks ago saying like the writers didn't even know who the final 5 were at this point. And I love that, because it kind of like left them open, that they weren't like, okay, at the end, Adama is going to be the head Cylon, and then we're going to work our way through the story to get to that point. They're just like, we're just going to see how the story evolves and how it makes sense. And I actually really love that idea, that they didn't know at this point either. Well, this point in which I am watching, they didn't know. So it kind of like, it kind of could be anybody, and like any information they give us could be just purely coincidence that was given to us, or, you know, a whole season later, they're like, remember that one time we said that one thing? Relevant, you know? So I'm really looking forward to getting into more of these episodes and getting to the end of season 3, because then season 4 is happening. And I think that that's where all the juice is at. That's where all the tasty bits are going to be. Well, actually, this season's been great so far. There's been a couple episodes where I'm like, I can find something great about that. And I actually said, with Unfinished Business, I was just like, you know what? It wasn't a horrible episode. I was like, but when the thing that I liked the most about it was not space shit related, it wasn't Cylon related, it was boxing. This is a space opera, and like, you know, we need space opera things. We need the drama from space fighting, or Cylons and planets and supernovas and all that shit. And the best thing was the boxing. So I'm just saying, there's certain episodes where I don't think that they're awful. I don't think that they're bad. It just, I was like, I don't know if we needed that. We probably could have had that told in a different way. But that's just me. And there's a reason why I don't work in Hollywood writing scripts for television shows. It's because I probably wouldn't be good at it. So guys, I'm really looking forward to getting into these next couple episodes. I have a feeling the closer we get to the finale, the more bonkers and batshit one Gaius will be. We have to figure out why Gaeta wanted to kill Gaius. I mean, I get mildly why he wanted to kill Gaius, but then after Gaius whispered something in his ear and that's when he attacked, I really want to know what he said to him. Of course, you know, we have to kind of figure out the whole Zarek thing and like the whole trial thing, because I don't know. Blanket immunity maybe is the best thing for Gaius, because I don't think anybody will be happy with the result whatsoever. I don't think a trial is a great idea either for him in particular. And I think that like that episode where she gave everyone blanket immunity, I was like, yeah, I guess. And now I'm kind of like, oh, I don't know. Someone like Gaius, like it is not black and white what Gaius has and has not done. For sure. It is not like just he is a maniacal evil person who's siding with the Cylons. Like that couldn't be further from the truth. So I don't know what they're gonna do. And if there is a trial, it's probably gonna be a circus. And if there isn't a trial, there's probably gonna be a circus. So either way, we're looking at a mess that Rosalind and Adama seem to have gotten themselves into the juicy little middle of it. So with that being said, I wanted to get into this juicy little episode. So guys, let's get into it. I don't know if it's juicy. I'm just guessing. Protecting Gaius? Oh. Didn't expect to see Adama. Ooh, is this a flashback? Is this his wife?
Enter.
Obviously it's a flashback, but wait. What? Where? No, this is current day. Who's in his bed?
Happy anniversary, Bill.
Oh. You in the doghouse last night, buddy?
I thought we were spending the day with Nikki.
Yeah, so did I, until Alaskan and Perry called in sick.
Daycare workers see more of Nikki than we do.
Yeah, well, until the daycare workers figure out how to strip a viper, this is the way it's gonna be. Hey, buddy, come here.
Oh, she just put him down.
I'll take him to daycare.
Just like that, in a bag?
Hey,
Yeah.
forgetting something?
They might need a break from each other.
Would you please? I'll be keeping my schedule.
Yeah, it's probably best.
This is just another day.
Just another day. Maybe I should have married him instead of you.
Wow. Interesting to see him married.
But you keep bringing me back anyway. Just this one day. Only thing I can't understand is why.
You were special to him? You gave him his sons?
Is Mickey okay?
Yeah, he's fine. First time he didn't cry when I dropped him off at daycare.
Because he's comfortable. You want that.
You didn't even cry?
Cal, I told you, Nikki is fine.
Yeah, and anybody could have dragged a tool bag down here. It didn't have to be me.
I was just going to say that.
What do you want me to do? Give you special treatment because you're my wife? How would that look?
I don't care.
Uncomfortable. Get your tickets.
Yeah, well, we swore a lot of things.
Silence. Exactly. Cooperate. Dictate. You want to give me those wire cutters?
Oh, what?
Chief, I'm picking up a pressure differential in there.
Why?
And it's nothing drastic, but you guys are definitely losing air.
Okay, can you break a window?
Yeah, the most important thing is to keep breathing, so just find the leak.
Yeah, let's do that first.
This is it right here, this one.
How do you cover that up? Naomi Nagata could fix it. Seen her do that. Yeah, I was a little thrown off at the beginning with Adama being in bed with somebody, and then the last episode, well, the last flashback we saw in the recap was the president in his bed. So I was like, what? Like, oh no, they're and I don't even know if it's a flashback or if it's something that he is just kind of creating in his mind. Because she's like, you only bring me back for this one day. So pretty.
Leeson takes first watch. Leeson takes first watch.
Who's Leeson?
Do you really think they expect you to know all of their names?
You never change, do you?
One of the joys of being long dead. Since you've created one godlike facade for yourself, why not invent another one for her?
Oh, wow.
It's another excuse to keep your distance.
Wow. It's like his own little head Gaius, but it's his own hen wife.
Alter again.
I gotta do something with him.
Can't we just give him back to the silence? How you bring lawyers into this? They're gonna drag you around for months.
Wasn't your father an attorney on Caprica?
Yes.
Sure was.
And I told you that I didn't get along with him very well.
Okay.
Did you have a candidate?
As a matter of fact, I do. I was thinking Lee. Like grandfather, like grandson, perhaps.
I would have said Hilo, personally.
I was wondering if you mind if I stayed on your ship for the rest of the day.
Spend time
Please.
with each other.
By all means.
This is very difficult for me to say, but I'm going to go to the gym.
I feel you, girl.
On its best day, it smells like the inside of a shoe.
I mean, Lee, for the most part, used to know the difference between right and wrong, and then he started sleeping around behind his wife's back, or at least
Come on, Cal, fast
kissing
is
her
better.
around.
The sooner we do this, the sooner we get out.
I heard you the first time.
I'm not quite sure what's chapping Callie's ass. The fact she doesn't get to spend time with her son, or she doesn't get to spend time with her husband, or they don't get to spend time with each other.
You're getting better at
Oh.
ignoring all of that. Those sidelong glances that really used to get to you.
It gets to me. I don't like it.
49 days without a sighting. Maybe we finally scared the toasters off.
Why would you say
Oh, yeah,
that?
Narjo, your crap flying's putting the fear of the gods in them.
Gotta jinx everything.
What's the matter with you?
Yeah, what's going on there?
I've got the weirdest rash. Really? She was worth it, buddy.
Pretty tough on him today.
Well, a kick in the butt is worth 1,000 words. Gods know you kicked mine enough.
Ooh.
Is everything okay?
President wants to take the fast track on Baltar's trial. She wants me to assign you.
Did you say why she asked for me?
Well, she's gonna need someone she can trust. You definitely fit that.
I mean, for her, yes, that makes sense.
But for 5 minutes there, I really did consider lawyer as one of a dozen careers that I could go into before I joined the service.
Followed your dad, though, huh?
Well, it was probably during one of my angry at dad phases.
Uh-oh. Callie, put your finger in it and stand there, and then Chief can go through, and then we'll just leave you in there. I'm not mad at Kelly or anything, but if I'm going to sacrifice one of those two, it's her.
Gotta get them out of there.
Can they seal it from the outside? Like, can somebody go out there and patch it on the outside? Can you put something over top of it to, like, just have that hole suction up?
How much time do they have?
The league that size, they'll be out of there in half an hour, maybe less.
Those
Holy
are glass
shit.
doors. It would take at least an hour to cut through them.
Anything strong enough to take out the glass will take out Tyrrell and Callie at the same time.
I need
Shit.
a rescue plan, not excuses.
Patch it from the outside, like I said.
All right, this might be a stupid question, but has anyone ever tried a rescue like this before? No one's ever been crazy enough.
Doesn't matter.
They don't do
we're out of time.
spacewalks?
Prep for lunch.
We've only got 18 minutes left.
All right, let's go. We're on.
You're telling me in all of this they never created a way to do a spacewalk? Well, if facing death doesn't get you guys over the dumb shit, then you weren't gonna make it anyway, so...
I'm gonna take you out through the front door.
If you wait for the pressure, then there's not gonna be a big suction or anything. Actually, I don't even think that's the way that would work.
Sir, if you're talking about an EVA, we don't have pressure suits.
We don't have a choice. I'm gonna blow the bolts right off of that door, and when it opens up, you're gonna have to jump for it. Now listen
Holy
to me,
shit.
both of you.
Yeah.
You can do this.
Admiral, I don't know.
We'll talk later. Get ready.
Yeah, you don't really have a choice, Chief. You gotta do it at this point. So easy for me to say.
Apollo and D. They'll take care of them.
No. No pilots. He's not going through this twice.
There's a civilian family. She has a little girl.
If anything happens to us,
I'll see to it.
Yeah. Chief didn't want to, like, really go there. Not that it jinxes it, but it makes him have to face it.
I was
Of
being
course.
selfish. I wanted you with me. Like old times.
All I can think of is the Expanse.
we're
And-
severe exposure.
Decompression
sickness. Make sure Cuddle's got his hyperbaric chamber ready.
Yeah. What about the radiation? Let all the air out of your lungs before you jump. I've learned a lot about space from the Expanse and what not to do if you're jumping out of a ship. Theoretically.
Okay. No matter what.
Oh, this is making me so cold, and I have a heating blanket on me right now.
Do it.
Do it. Oh my god. Oh, that's like a snapped neck for sure.
Raptors secured and pressurized. They're in rough shape. We gotta get them to sickbay right away.
I feel really bad about what I said about Callie earlier. But again, if I was going to sacrifice somebody. Gulp.
They're alive, but Doc Cottle's still evaluating their condition.
You can be in a hyperbaric chamber for a while. Together.
Your mother gave you and your brother a home, stability.
Dad, I know you want to believe that, but,
What?
You know what? Forget it.
No,
It was a long time
continue.
ago.
You have something to say, son, just say it.
Yeah, say it.
She would promise that she would make things better. But then she would just start drinking, and then all of her good intentions would just go flying out the fracking window.
Then why are you attracted to Starbuck?
But you weren't here for any of us! It was always whatever was easiest for the great Adama!
They needed you.
They needed a father.
Oh, she's scary.
That's it. That's why you keep calling me back. Because if you had made that mistake, it would just call into question all of your other decisions.
Wow. He wears things very heavily inside.
I loved her.
I believe you. I just don't think she ever loved you.
Oh. Oh. She certainly was angry with him. Man. I don't understand why Lee is attracted to Starbuck then, if, like, Starbuck's a lot like his mom. Oh,
Yeah?
You act like you've been thrown from one ship to the other through space.
So what's this?
Oh, it was here when I got in. It's from your father.
Oh, interesting.
Is it ticking?
He left you a note.
Well, these were my grandfather's law books.
Your dad must have had these in storage
Saved
all this
them.
time.
Yeah.
You ever think about the times much on New Caprica?
I try to think about the good times. Yes, I do.
One in particular stands out in my mind. You were wearing a really bright red dress. Said you wanted to build a cabin.
It was
Yeah.
Baltar's ground-breaking ceremony. I got a little silly that night.
Mm-hmm. She's so giggly around him sometimes.
I will be back in a few days, and if you'd like, we can talk more about that night. Bill? The answer's yes. I absolutely would have built the cabin.
I don't know why that brought tears to my eyes.
Go
Oh, that
ahead.
made me so happy.
Put it away, like you have after every anniversary.
Throw it out the airlock.
See you next year.
I mean, it's Adama. He's a sentimental guy, so he's always going to hold on to it. I didn't think we'd get an Adama episode. Okay, very much still a relationship episode, but different. While the mild toxicity from Carol Ann, which kind of still that perplexes me with Lee, and his attraction to Starbuck, because it seems like Carol Ann is very similar. But definitely, like, you can see, I mean, it'd be really easy to paint the Admiral and the President as, like, the heroes that are never wrong and they never mess up, and that they're perfect, and that they are always right in every situation, and they always make the correct choice every single time. And that's just not realistic. And, you know, even if he wasn't that great of a father and that great of a husband during a certain period of time, it seems like he's really dwelling on it. And it's something that does torture him a little bit. And, obviously he loved his wife and he misses his wife. And he really he really wishes that it had worked out and that they hadn't gotten a divorce. But, Lee's perspective of it is like the divorce was awful. And, his treatment, after the fact it just got worse and worse. And, I don't know what it's like to raise children. I don't know what it's like to be a single mother. And I don't know what it's like to go through divorce. So I can't really comment on those with just being like, it's not okay for her to do that. It's not okay for her to treat kids that way. It 100% isn't. I think anyone would say that. But also if she was in a place where she was broken, where she was hurt, and she didn't have any help, that just really sucks that she was tortured and that, she tried to find ways to cope that were not healthy. And I'm guessing though on Caprica, there were probably doctors and therapists and people she could have probably gone to for help. But a lot of times it's really hard to admit those things. And it makes me feel bad for Lee, and why I really like Dee as a partner for him. Cause she is healthy. She is calm. She is, somebody who keeps her cool under pressure. And I think that that's kind of what he needs and how he needs to be loved rather than the dramatic flair that I think he got from his mother. He didn't get from his mother, that he saw from his mother. Now, definitely the Chief Callie situation. It's not even that I don't like Callie. She's just not really one of those characters I care that much about. And it's just because the only thing that she really has is Chief. And that's really I guess the only reason why I'm supposed to like her. Other than that, she really hasn't had much character growth. But I would say in this one, it really did help show that that they were having rough patches and that, things were falling apart. And obviously when you don't have all the information, it's hard to say who was right and who was wrong in that scenario. Snapping and snarling at your significant other for them, not doing what you want them to do or what you think they should be doing, or just and I get it. Having your kids raised at daycare is a rough thing. I know a lot of my friends who do not have support systems and their kids had to go to daycare. And that's just kind of the reality of life. If you choose to have a child, that there's a possibility that they're going to have to go and spend the day with somebody else, whether it's a babysitter, a nanny, grandma, grandpa, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, or they have to go to daycare, and that can be really hard, especially when Chief said that oh, he didn't even cry this time. And it's yeah, it's because he's used to them. You want your kid used to those people. You want them to feel comfortable around them. You don't want your kid to be brokenhearted and devastated every time they have to go to daycare. That's just not okay, right? So I get her being sad about it because it's he's accustomed to somebody else almost raising him, but Nikki's not going to remember any of that. He's but a wee little baby. So, those times are the ones that kind of, you can be a little bit easy on yourself if you can't spend every waking moment with your baby. But definitely Chief saying he was selfish and wanted to spend the day with Callie, while that's sweet, it's also, he could have done that by not going into work. And I don't know if he really even had a choice. I don't think he did. But, it's not wrong of him to want to do that, but considering that they weren't doing really well, they were still fighting even with Celix, in the other room. The leak. So I don't know what it is coincidence wise, but I was talking to somebody online about Naomi Nagata from The Expanse and spacewalks and what to do if you're in the vacuum of space and you don't hold on to the air, you expel the air. And, so I feel theoretically, this is all theoretical because at no point in my life do I ever see this being something that I am going to need to do. But if you have to jump from a ship, you let all the air out of your lungs and then you jump. And you're probably going to get, radiation burns on one side and probably, frostbite on the other. It just really depends on which way is facing a star. But yeah, the whole shoot him out of an airlock and hopefully Starbuck and Lee can catch them. That's a lot of faith in Starbuck and Lee, first of all. And then second of all, with the debris flying everywhere, like that's also equally terrifying. So that whole thing, I was just like, well, I was like, this is one of those experiences that only so many couples can say that they've ever done together. But I think it's really interesting that they don't have like spacewalks, that like they can't go and they can't seal it from the outside. And I know Ty had mentioned landing in dry dock, and even with like 6 weeks of being in dry dock, they would just be hammering out the dents. It wouldn't even have to do with any of the structural issues. But like they can't go outside of the ship. Have we seen them do that? I feel like they should have the ability to do that. But either way, it made for an exciting yet anxiety-filled episode. Just between the alarms and the flashing lights and then the impending doom of air leaking. Now, I'm a person that like sometimes I don't hear somebody if they're 5 feet away from me, but I can hear an air leak or like a water drip. Like 20, 30 feet away, I'd be like, what's that noise? What's that noise? So I just could not. I could not. But the fact that like they were taking their sweet time clogging the hole, and I'm like, just find a binder or a book and put it over top of the hole and it'll suck it in. Another thing I learned, episode 4 of The Expanse, if you haven't watched it, go watch those reactions. But I've learned a lot of things from The Expanse, probably more so than I've learned from Battlestar Galactica. But I think the practicality of everything that I learned in The Expanse, I could totally utilize. God, I love that show. And, you know, I'm glad that we have a little bit more of like Lee and his father, you know, talking to each other and having like the flashback or like the head Carol Ann. It's almost like a head Gaius or a head Six. But Carol Ann kind of living in there for like one day out of the year and him opening himself up to like listening to her and kind of taking her abuse a little bit, which I was not a fan of. But, you know, having the reminder of kind of having kids and like we didn't see them, but you know, he had like the toys, and then like her saying like does Admiral Adama say like I love you to his son? Like, is that something? And I feel like he has. I feel like we've seen plenty of those moments where like he's openly caring and emotional towards his son. But I think giving those books is kind of a way of saying like, I believe in you. And I never knew that you wanted to be a lawyer, or that was like a thought that you had even, you know, put out there. But here are your grandpa's books. And when you find the time, go ahead and dive in. And I think that that's so beautiful. Not only is it giving Lee something of his grandfather's, but it is actually saying like, I believe that you can do this. You know, I have no doubt in my mind that if you read these, you will be one step closer to being a lawyer. I don't know how that works in space. But like, let's talk about the thing that like really made my heart go flutter. So I have never ever shipped mom and dad. I have never once said that I think Rosalind and Adama would be a great couple. I think they work well together, and I think that like they are a good team, and they definitely will check each other when needed, and they bounce ideas off of each other, and like they're so good together that I would almost be afraid to change that dynamic with a relationship. But then when we had the flashbacks to New Caprica, I was like, are they getting high together? Are they having sweet moments together? And you know, we had like the kiss that he gave her back in season 2, and you know, like there have been little moments along the way, and it has not been heavy-handed. It has not been a will they, won't they. It has not. You know, there hasn't been a lot of those moments where I'm like, ooh, they're gonna end up together. But it's like they're really good friends, or they're best friends, or like they really confide in each other. And there's only so many people that they can talk to about like this stuff. And so it has made them kind of grow together in an emotional way. They have bonded, and kind of seeing the end of that episode and them talking about the cabin on New Caprica and how she would totally have built it if they had stayed. And like you could see them like dancing around it because they don't really want to say it and just be like, yeah, I would love to have had a home with you on New Caprica or something along those lines. They're just kind of like, well, hypothetically, you know, but also, and then her just saying outright, like, I totally would have had that cabin on New Caprica. They are so stinking cute. And I will say, that in that scene, in that moment, I thought to myself, if this wasn't Bear's score, like if he wasn't setting the tone with this music right now, would this be sweet or would this be weird? And literally Bear being like the third actor in that scene, and the music being such a main character, and kind of just giving us that moment, giving us those feels, letting it be light and giving levity after a very heavy, you know, couple moments. I loved all of that. I loved all of that. And I still don't ship them, but you know what? If it happens, I ain't mad. I ain't mad. You know, he even said that his wife wasn't intimidated by him, and, you know, I don't think Rosalind is either. I think he likes them strong. The strong-willed, at least, that's for damn sure. But guys, if you want to watch the full-length reaction to this episode, it will be available on my Patreon, as well as up to 4 episodes early. And in the meantime, like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. What do you think about the mom and dad ship in this episode? Because I'm not against it. I'm not against it. I think I absolutely would have started crying my eyes out if I were Lee and I received those books. I don't know how you guys felt in that moment, but definitely when he opened it up and it said Joseph Adama, my heart just swelled, and I was so happy for Lee, and I was so proud of the Admiral for kind of just really, I feel like that was an emotional thing for him to do. He didn't get along with his father, and, you know, the law and him have never been friends. And to like just really show Lee that he supports him and gives him those books. Not only is that emotional, but you know, that's great to have your father's support. I don't know, how did you guys feel about that moment? Because I really liked that moment. There were some good things in this episode, and there were some kind of things that, you know, I know that we need, you know, relationship stuff between Callie and Chief. I don't know necessarily if not, you know, spending time together and having your kid go to daycare is an argument worthy thing. Again, I've never been in that position, so I'm just like, is this an argument that people have, that they don't get to spend time with each other? Now I feel like when you have a kid, you are no longer just Callie and Chief, you are mom and dad, and then you have a child, so like your identity kind of has to like tweak itself in certain scenarios. But I do feel like people do lose themselves in raising a child. But again, I've never been in that position, so I don't really know what that's like. But I feel like that might be more of a normal scenario. I mean, minus the spacewalk or minus the space blast, whatever it is. I feel like that might be a normal argument that couples have when they have a child. So let me know what you thought about the relationship stuff in this episode down below. And I'm very glad that it had nothing to do with anything that was super political or anything else. It's starting to give me a little bit of a headache because a lot of opinions in the comments tend to really exhaust me. It really does. But guys, come back here for the next couple episodes. I'm really excited to finish off season 3. So in the meantime, I'll see ya.